In DSMA 1, we're going to look at Venn diagrams, which we need for probability, and number lines. Number lines are critical for statistics. Okay, so our basic number line here, we have 0 in the middle. We have our negative numbers heading to the left and our positive numbers heading to the right. So for us in statistics, this is our standardized number line. Sometimes we're going to use other numbers and other tick marks, but for our standardized, we're going to have 0 in the middle. We're going to add some standard deviations on the right-hand side. So we're going to go in the positive direction, and we're going to subtract and go in the negative direction. All right, so at first we're just getting used to this number line. You can see that all of the number lines have a 0 in the middle. We have the negative numbers on the left-hand side, the positive numbers on the right-hand side, and they want you to plot these points. So we want 0, +2, +4, and +6. So A is not going to work because look, 2 and 6 are over here on the negative side. That's not going to work. For oh, look at this. When I cut and paste, this happens. I do know my alphabet. It says A, C, B, D, but when I cut and paste, that happens sometimes. All right, so for C, we've got 6, 4, and 2 are on the negative side. They're supposed to be on the positive side. Looks like B is okay. We've got 0, 2, 4, and 6 all on the positive side. D is not going to work because this 4 is over here on the negative side. So our answer would be B. All right, same idea. Let's just check our number lines. We have a 0 in the middle. All 4 have a negative numbers on the left and positive numbers on the right. So we're going to do a few for this one. We want +3, +5. So those are going to be the only two on the positive side. And then we're going to have -3, -5, and -8. So when we go, if you haven't, I guess I should have explained on the last slide, each tick mark is 1. So if we go from 0 here and go 3 tick marks, that's going to get us to +3. Go 2 more tick marks, that's going to go to +5. If we go the other direction, we're going in the negative direction. So if we start at 0 and we go 3 tick marks to the left, we're going to get to -3. 2 more tick marks would get me to -5, and 3 more tick marks would get me to -8. So A is actually our answer. Notice for the next number line here, we've got positive numbers over here on the negative side. That won't work. And negative numbers on the positive side. The third one, same idea. We've got these two should be positive. They should be on the right-hand side. These two should be on the left-hand side because they're negative. D looks okay, except for this -8 out here. That should be down here. So the answer would be A. So this is just getting you used to moving on the number line. Really, when we add and subtract, we really are doing that on the number line. We just are doing it on a number line in our head. So in this one, we're going to start at -6, and we're going to add a -1. Now remember, that's really the same as subtracting a 1. So we're going to notice the zeros here. We're going to start here at -6. And since we're adding a -1, we're going to actually slide here. We're going to slide to the left one, and that would get us to -7. Now, we're not going to be doing this. We're going to be popping these in our calculator, but we're just kind of getting used to moving up and down the number line because we will have to do that with some of the things that we do in statistics. Now, my stat lab has some crazy stuff in it. One are these number lines with that little dot. So what you're going to do is click on the dot and drag it. Okay, so for us, we are starting at -3, and we're going to add 9. So starting at -3 means we come in the negative direction, 3 tick marks. So that gets us to -3. And now we're going to add a +9. So that means we're going to go ahead to the right. And so we're actually going to head 9 tick marks. Let me see where that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 here. Okay, so we're going to go 9 tick marks to here. And that gets us to +6. So you just have to be careful. If it's a negative number, you're going to head to the left. If it's a positive number, you're going to head to the right. All right, let's take a look at this one. So we have 0 in the middle. We have a negative 49 way out here and a positive. Well, we don't need that, but we'll do it anyway. We'll put this. Okay, so we're starting way out here at negative 49. We want to go in the positive direction, 49 tick marks. Well, that's going to get us back to 0, right? And so this would equal 0. And sure enough, if you put that in the calculator, you would see these are opposites. Okay, with this one, we are starting at negative 3. Because we're subtracting 24, we are going to go 24 tick marks to the left. So that would get us to negative 27. This just kind of gives you an eyeball again, get you back used to number lines. I know you're going to put it in your calculator, but that's okay. Okay, so in math, we have something called a double negative. What happens is if you subtract a negative, it actually becomes a positive. Okay, so on a number line, you would suppose the negative 8 tells me to go to the left, but the negative in front tells me to go to the right. So these two offset each other. And so if you see a negative times a negative, which is really what this is because of the parentheses, that's going to actually be a positive. And now you can either put that in the calculator or put it in a number line, and you would get positive 4. So what happens, I know this doesn't look like it, but this is really negative 4, and then negative 1 times negative 8. I know in math we drop the 1 a lot, but that really is a negative 1 out front. So negative 1 times negative 8 would give me a positive 8, and then I'd have the negative 4 out front. Okay, so this one's a little deceiving. So I'm going to use this huge number line. My number lines are getting really crooked. All right, so I have a 0 in the middle. It says a temperature recorded in Antarctica was negative 116 degrees. So that would be way out here. Degrees Fahrenheit. And then the temperature recorded in the Sahara Desert was really hot, 132 degrees Fahrenheit. That's like when I lived in Kuwait. I lived in Kuwait right after the first war. I wasn't in the military, but I was there with the embassy. And it would be like 120 degrees. And we'd be sitting out on the patio drinking soup. I don't know, crazy. All right. So this helps us by having a picture. It shows that you're not going to just add these together, right? Because if you take negative 116 plus 132, you only get that the difference between the two is 16, and that's not right. If we go back to looking at distance, the distance from the Antarctica back to 0 is 116 degrees. And then the difference from 0 up to 132 for the Sahara is 132. So you would have to add those two together, right? Don't keep the sign because we're looking for the distance between those two. Okay. Let's see what we've got here. A lady received a statement of her charge account at a store. She spent $92 on purchases last month. She returned a $15 top because she didn't like the color. So she got $15 back. She also returned a $21 nightshirt because it was damaged. What does she actually owe on her account? Okay, so the $92 is what she owed, but she returned a $15 top, and so she got her money back. Well, that was taken out of the purchases, and then the 21 also. So if you can either put that in your calculator, or it looks like this would be 92 minus 36. So that would tell me that she had $56 that she owed on her account.